What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Anonymod. This is your go-to channel for cybersecurity insights and ethical hacking tutorials. Today we're going deep down into the OWASP Top 10. We're talking about the most critical web application security risks out there and, more importantly, how to exploit them. Now, before we start, remember to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to join our growing cybersecurity community. We're talking tens of thousands of subscribers, all interested in ethical hacking and cybersecurity just like you. Let me tell you, you are in the right place. Alright, enough with the intro, let's get down to business. We've got a lot to cover, so buckle up, grab your favorite energy drink, and let's dive in. First up, we have injection attacks, and we're going to be focusing on the big dog SQL injection, the undisputed king of web app vulnerabilities. You see that web application? It relies on a database. And that, my friends, is where we come in. Imagine a login page, right? You've got your username and password fields. Now with SQL injection, we're not just trying to guess credentials. Now we're talking about manipulating the database query itself. Imagine injecting a malicious string, something like, "This little piece of code can completely bypass authentication, granting us access to the entire database." I'm talking about sensitive user data, financial information, you name it. It's like breaking into a bank vault, but instead of dynamite, we're using lines of code. Now to really up your SQLI game, you need the right tools. SQL Map, my friends, is your new best friend. This tool automates SQL injection testing, making your life a whole lot easier. It's like having a guided missile for databases. You point it at a target, pull the trigger, and boom, you've got yourself a data breach. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. We're all about ethical hacking here, using our powers for good. So practice your SQLI skills on vulnerable applications, like those found on platforms like Hack the Box or TryHackMe. The key, my friends, is to understand how these attacks work so you can defend against them. Because in the real world, you don't want to be the one getting hacked, right? You want to be the one protecting your systems, your data, and your users. So, dive deep into the world of SQL injection, master the art of database manipulation, and become the cybersecurity ninja you were born to be. Next up, we're tackling broken authentication, a vulnerability that's all about exploiting weak spots in how applications manage user accounts. We're talking weak passwords, easy-to-guess credentials, and poorly implemented authentication mechanisms. This is like leaving your front door wide open with a sign that says, "Welcome criminals." One common attack vector is session hijacking. Imagine a user logs in, and the application sends a session ID to their browser, like a digital key to their account. Now, if an attacker can get their hands on that session ID, they can effectively steal the user's identity and take over their account. It's like finding someone's house keys just lying on the ground. But fear not, my friends, because we're not just going to talk about how to exploit these vulnerabilities. We're going to learn how to defend against them. One word, multi-factor authentication, MFA. This, my friends, is your digital bodyguard. With MFA, even if an attacker gets their hands on a user's password, they still can't access their account without that second factor, whether it's a code from an authenticator app or a biometric scan. It's like adding an extra lock on your front door just to be safe. Remember, securing your applications is a continuous process. Stay up to date on the latest security best practices, use strong passwords and MFA, and never underestimate the importance of proper authentication. Your users are trusting you with their data, and it's your responsibility to keep it safe. Let's talk about cross-site scripting, or XSS for short. Now, this vulnerability is all about injecting malicious scripts into trusted websites. Imagine a comment section on a blog, right? Seems harmless enough. But what if an attacker could inject a script that steals user cookies or redirects them to a malicious website? That, my friends, is the power of XSS. Let me give you an example. Say there's a vulnerable website that doesn't properly sanitize user input. An attacker could inject a simple script like into a comment field. Now, when an unsuspecting user visits that page, the script executes in their browser, popping up an alert box. That's a pretty harmless example. But imagine if the script was designed to steal their login credentials or spread malware. That's why XSS is such a dangerous vulnerability. But don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging without any tools to fight back. Burp Suite, my friends, is your new best friend when it comes to finding and exploiting XSS vulnerabilities. This powerful web vulnerability scanner can help you identify potential XSS flaws in your applications so you can fix them before the bad guys get their hands on them. But remember, ethical hacking is all about responsible disclosure. If you find an XSS vulnerability, report it to the website owner so they can fix it and protect their users. Don't be that person who exploits vulnerabilities for personal gain. Use your powers for good, my friends, and help make the internet a safer place, one vulnerability at a time. Now let's dive into the shadows of insecure deserialization, a vulnerability that's often overlooked but can have devastating consequences. This one's a bit more technical, but stick with me because it's important. Think of serialization like packing a suitcase for a trip. You take your data, your clothes, your gadgets, and you pack them neatly into a suitcase so you can easily transport them. Deserialization is the opposite, unpacking your suitcase at your destination and retrieving your belongings. Now imagine if someone tampered with your suitcase while you weren't looking. They could swap out your belongings, plant something dangerous, or even reprogram your gadgets to do their bidding. That's essentially what insecure deserialization allows attackers to do. By manipulating the data that's being deserialized, an attacker can execute arbitrary code on the server, potentially gaining complete control over the application. It's like giving them the keys to the kingdom and they didn't even have to break a sweat. Protecting against insecure deserialization requires a multifaceted approach. First and foremost, you need to be extremely careful about what data you deserialize, especially if it's coming from untrusted sources. Think of it like being cautious about accepting packages from strangers. You also need to implement proper input validation and sanitization to prevent malicious data from slipping through the cracks. And of course, keeping your software up to date with the latest security patches is crucial. Remember, insecure deserialization is a serious threat, but by understanding how it works and taking the necessary precautions, you can protect your applications and your users from harm. So there you have it, guys. We've just scratched the surface of the OWASP Top 10, exploring the treacherous terrains of SQL injection, broken authentication, cross-site scripting, and insecure deserialization. These vulnerabilities represent real threats, but understanding them is the first step toward securing your applications. If this video helped you level up your cybersecurity game, give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel, and share it with your fellow cybersecurity enthusiasts. Let's spread the knowledge and build a more secure digital world together. Don't forget to subscribe to Anonymod for more tutorials and insights. Stay ethical, stay secure, and I'll see you in the next video.